City of Nashville. Start with a legal notice as information for our audience. If you're not satisfied with the decision made by the Metro Board of Fair Commissioners today, you may appeal the decision by petitioning for a writ of cert with the Davidson County Chancery or Circuit Court. Your appeal must be filed within 60 days of the date of the entry of the board's decision. To ensure that your appeal is filed in a timely manner and that all procedural requirements have been met, please be advised that you should contact your own independent legal counsel. I am Vice Chair of the Fair Board, Todd Hardley. I call this meeting to order. We don't have a quorum of the Fair Board today, with 2 absences today, so we're not going to be able to take any votes, but we are going to hear informational reports. So if you look at the agenda, we're going to defer approving the minutes from the previous meeting and move directly into the public comment period. Is there anyone signed up for public comment? Thank you. Seeing no public comment, we'll move into the next agenda, which is the monthly informational reports, starting with our campus partner updates. I'll start with Bob Sargent for the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Thank you. Just talk loud.
Okay. Thank you. Normal season is getting underway now. We've had some weather issues. We had a really 4 days of rain for our last event. We ended up getting it completed with some quarter miles to make up now. So fought through that one with the weather. And then we have our Thursday NASCAR night coming up May 29th. So that's our 2 big ones we're working on now. And again, we're just working through the normal season and trying to do a makeup race for the quarter mile guys. So anyway, that's pretty much the update for our racetrack right now.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Bob? Bob, is there anything you need from the Fair Board right now?
No, I think we're all good. Again, we're trying to keep the maintenance around the area good, painted, weeds down. I think everything's going well with that, and working with Ronnie and all the staff. So, no, I think everything's good right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we're going to hear from Nashville Soccer Club. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Ryan Harbor with Nashville Soccer Club. So last week we started our May with our first opening round of the U.S. Open Cup versus the Chattanooga Red Wolves. The team won 1-0. This past Friday, we also hosted the Vanderbilt commencement and graduation. And then less than 24 hours later, we hosted another home match against Charlotte, also victorious. So really just a shout out to our grounds crew, stadium crew, operations crew for making an outstanding experience for everyone who was in the building last week. We'll continue home match tomorrow night versus the New York Red Bulls, then again on Saturday, and then a final home match at the end of the month on the 31st. In other events, we also recently announced that in August on the 2nd, we'll host a home match versus English Premier League team Aston Villa in an international friendly. And pending any questions, it's a busy month, both at Geodis Park and for our first team, but good momentum from the team and good experiences all around at the stadium.
All right, thank you for your report. Are there any questions for Nashville Soccer Club? Ron, is there anything the Fair Board that you need from the Fair Board right now?
Not right now. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and I think Laura, you told me that Dirk is not here from the mixed use, so we'll skip his report. Any other campus partner reports? None, seeing none, we'll move to the capital project updates. I'll ask our new colleague here to come forward, and please introduce yourself to the Fair Board.
Yes, good morning. I'm Don Collins with Collier Engineering. We have been working with Laura and her staff for probably a couple of years on a number of projects here on the campus, starting now to get a lot of projects. You'll start seeing a lot of projects coming to completion of design in the next few weeks, and actually seeing some things moving around on the campus, such as on Lot 2 yesterday, we had a pre-construction meeting with Metro Water Services. Construction is starting to put in some erosion control that you'll start seeing, and then that will be inspected by the Metro Water Services inspector, and the grading permit will be issued shortly thereafter. So they will be heavy, trying to work to get to some level of completion by the early September, in prep for the Davidson County Fair. And then also on the intersection at Wingrove and Nonesville Road. We are coming to the completion of that design phase with anticipation in the next few days of submitting those plans for review and comment, and also the stormwater plans we feel will be in their final approval stage. Metro has told us that they need 3 to 4 weeks to get those drawings reviewed and hopefully things addressed, much like on Lot 2. Once we have that final approval on the stormwater plans, well, then Bell will be able to obtain a grading permit, and you'll see movement on that project, and that has at the moment a 10-month construction window. Also, other final approvals with other agencies, TDEC and NDOT and others are ongoing as well. And then lastly, the big project, Lower Coliseum Way, we have conditional approval from the flood study that Metro's consultant has done. And then we are also finalizing comments that we've received from a number of Metro agencies. So we're in the final stretch of a lot of design work. We're soon to have 2 projects under construction, working through final comments on Lower Coliseum Way. And then lastly, the NDOT sidewalk project is in its final stages of construction as well. So that's our update for this month. Any questions from the members of the board or from anyone else?
If you could hold. Laura, is there anything else or anything we need to be aware of or that's top of mind from you from the staff perspective on the capital side?
No, the only thing that I have communicated with Councilmember Vo is because of the Lot 2 project, there might be some minor blasting that occurs to break up that rock.
Minor blasting.
Minor
okay.
blasting. It's not going to be like the stadium blasting, let's put it that way. But there will be some blasting. They've done the pre-surveys and done photographic, pictures of, our buildings, and then, of course, some of the homes on Byram within a certain distance from the Lot 2. So we did notify the council member of that in the event any of her constituents had any questions.
All right, thank you, Laura. And is there anything else that you need from the Fair Board on the capital
Not at
improvement
this
side right
time.
now?
It just we'll have more to report in the next few months because we'll be at the point where construction will be commencing, and there's going to be a number of things that we'll be able to report, and also coordination with the campus partners because, their days will be very busy with ongoing construction here on the campus.
All right, thank you.
So thank you very much.
It's good for us to always remember that we're in the period of transition at this facility over a several-year period where we're basically completely renovating 120-something acres. So it's always good to be reminded of that. Is anybody else? Is everybody good on capital improvements? You good? Okay. All right, we'll move on to we call them division updates, which is essentially staff reports. So first we'll have the finance report. Satrice.
Hello, everyone. The financial information presented today is preliminary, and our revenues and expenses for April 2025 may not have been recorded to the ledgers as of May 9th, 2025, when this report was created. The Metro Charter mandates that certain activities be conducted on the property of the Fairgrounds, which include a divisional fair, expo center events, flea markets, and auto racing. In an effort to fulfill said mandates, as of April 2025, we have earned $3 million and we have spent $3.5 million, which is a difference of approximately $565,800. Depreciation expense is $1,024,100. So the total adjusted variance for depreciation is roughly $1.5 million. Revenue by division. Flea markets year-to-date budget for revenue is $872,167, of which we have earned $512,400, which is a difference of $358,738. The contributing factors: overestimating revenue and reduction in dealer and patron participation. Events. Year-to-date budget is about $1.4 million, which we have earned approximately $1.5 million, which is a $105,000 difference. Division of Fair. Year to budget $530,000, of which we have earned $584,800, which is a $54,805 difference. Contracts. Year-to-date budget is $251,800, of which we have earned $267,500. There's a difference of about $15,700. Other, we have collected $121,900. For expenses by division. Year-to-date for flea market, we have a budget of $912,600, of which we have spent $815,100. We're under budget by $97,500. Events, the expense budget is about $1.1 million. We've spent $987,300. We're under budget by $125,200. For the fair, year-to-date budget is about $1.5 million. We spent roughly $1.4 million. We're under budget by $32,800. Contracts, the year-to-date budget is $375,200. We've spent roughly $285,800. We're under budget by $89,400. For our gain and loss section for each division, flea market has earned $513,400. We've spent $815,100, resulting in a difference of $301,700. Events has earned $1.5 million. We've spent about $987,300, resulting in a difference of $524,100. Fair has earned $584,800. We've spent $1.4 million, a difference of $891,900. Contracts has earned $267,500. We've spent $284,800, resulting in a difference of $18,200. For other, we've earned $121,900. For our other accounts, D&D concessions, the balance is $500,400, which we will be spending this fiscal year. So that account will be dissolved. Our property tax proration is $340,900. On our agent report, we have approximately $29,100 in outstanding invoices. All of promoters have been contacted and invoiced. Any questions?
Diego, Anthony, any questions?
Not a question, just to, I guess, bring people up to speed. Patrice shared with me a preliminary breakdown of fixed and variable costs, in particular for, and again, because I had asked for that. That's a work in progress, right? I think ideally we will see the end of the fiscal year, then dive deeper into understanding expenses on all of the different divisions and see where there's opportunities there to bring each division to sustainability, or at least understand which divisions are paying for which other divisions, and continue to do that exercise. But just wanted to thank you for that, Patrice, for sharing that. And if I can share anything, if you guys are interested in understanding a little bit more, I'd say the main thing to share would be out of the, in flea market, our fixed cost is over $400,000, and we're bringing about $500,000 in revenue. So there's I would say that's the highlight for me in that preliminary analysis. We need to see what either the allocation of costs that we're giving to the flea market, or we should be talking more actively strategies to bring that closer to sustainability. But more work to come.
Great, thank you. We'll look forward to that work. Anthony, any questions?
Are we able to have a committee or something that we can dig in more depth on the flea market, as opposed, because we only meet this one time and we filibuster a lot, but we can't get some irons in the fire.
I think we could definitely create a subcommittee or task force. I mean, we can also just have a longer discussion at a meeting about that as well. I mean, it's hard because it's obviously complex and requires a good bit of time. I might suggest we ask Laura, maybe with Diego's input, to suggest a framework for how we could have a further discussion about the flea market's operating model, maybe sometime in the summer, once we get some of that preliminary cost information.
That would be great.
Great. And I think I don't even have to take a vote. I can just direct you, since I'm running the meeting, to take that action. Diego?
I agree. Count on me.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we're going to ask Laura to do that in coordination with Commissioner Diego. Great. Any other questions, Diego, Anthony? I have a couple.
Go ahead.
First comment, Satrice, obviously your beginning setup for the financials, I noticed it was different, and you talked about how the city has given us mandates to fulfill. I just want to say that I really appreciate that framing, because that's important for us all to remember. It's a public enterprise here. We have certain requirements, and some of those requirements, as Diego is working on and we're all going to be working on, may not be profitable. They may be unprofitable. So it's good for us to frame our thinking in that manner, that these are the sort of set of starting positions. So I appreciate you doing that, and I think we all appreciate that and understand that. And now I have two actual questions. One, the property tax proration here, which we have an ending balance of $340,000. I see we have a depreciation expense year over year of $1 million. Really just a financial accounting question for you. Can we use that property tax balance to, should that offset in our books the depreciation expense?
Depreciation expense is a valuation. It's just saying all of the buildings and equipment that we have, year over year, we're expending it, and so it's the amount, the value of them are decreasing.
Got you.
It's not a money.
Got you. So it's almost like we need to go ahead and spend the 340 to make capital improvements, and that potentially offsets the depreciates in some way, because we would create more capital asset for us to have, right? You see what I'm saying?
Well, if you buy more capital assets, they're going to depreciate as well.
That's true. That's true.
So what's going to happen once they're fully depreciated, once the buildings and all these things are fully depreciated, that's when your depreciation expense goes down. I'm
tracking you. I guess I'm trying to think about the best way for us to deploy the capital in this running property tax budget that we're very excited that Dirk is creating for us through his property tax values. So that's additionally something that we'll be looking for direction on. I know you have a list of capital plans, but that's just sort of a comment to you, Laura.
No, I would agree. We're looking hopefully this coming fiscal year of doing a capital asset management plan, so we have a better idea of like when we could potentially see some of these larger investments, say a roof replacement or something like that, because again, it's a balance between what we need to save in this fund in order to cash fund predicted improvements in the facility and possibly new investments in order to generate additional revenue.
I would just add, and probably instead of looking at depreciation as a driver to start looking to that, do we have a report of state of good repair in some of our assets? Because I think that's we need to help with prioritizing that, right? And saying state of good repair, the things that we already have before we start buying new toys. What's the state of our current toys, right? And then which one of those make money, which one of those cost money? and then we reinvest the capital that we have right now in keeping state of good repair for those assets that are more productive first. And this is just recommending, right? What makes sense to me. And then when we go down the list, in my experience, we will run out of money very quickly in the top priorities for a state of good repair. We have assets that are very large and expensive to keep up with. So I think it's good that we have that money, but it's not, we don't necessarily have an opportunity to have a wish list that is very long outside of repairing things that we already have. But that's, I remember asking for that in my Metro days, and we would ask for departments to provide state of good repair reporting for before asking for capital improvement money, is tell me where your assets are today. And I think that's something that we could devise a way of tracking that. That is not direct depreciation, right? That's more of a virtual accounting. It's just a way of keeping the books the right way. But for operationalizing what you're suggesting, I think we need to look at state of good repair.
So, Therese, does that make sense? Could we look at creating something like that, or is that something we already have a list of?
That's also going to be part of the camp.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. All right. And what do you have a time frame for when you're looking at putting that together?
FY26. Specifically beyond that, no, because I have not retained anybody at this point to do that, but it's on the list to do this next fiscal year. Yes.
Thank you. Awesome. My last question, which again, I used to work at Nissan, which was great, and there they would give the non-finance people like a green or a red dot for like good or bad. So, you know, you can tell some of my questions are based on the fact that I'm a lawyer and not a finance professional. But the question I have is, if I'm comparing our annualized budget section up here at the top to our gain and loss, I'm trying to figure out where we're doing better versus budget versus not. And I'm thinking, and that's, Teresa, I just want you to check me on this. I'm thinking we're doing better in the corporate sales arena, the divisional fair, and in our revenue contracts, and worse in the flea market. Am I reading that correctly?
Right.
Okay, thank you. Those are all the questions I have. Any other questions on the finances? It's obviously very important. So we're going to take the action that Laura is going to get with Diego to set up a sort of special task force type thing or meeting time on looking at the operating model for the flea market. Thank you. I remember what it was. And number two, that we're going to wait to hear from Laura a little more on the capital asset management plan planning for FY26. All right, next update would be the personnel report. Laura, you want to give anything on that?
Only that per the personnel subcommittee recommendations that were adopted last year, the chair and I did meet about our accomplishments over the last year, and then goals and objectives, which you all have, that are built right off of the strategic work plan that was approved at the last meeting. I think we're going to go ahead and defer that item so that it can track a little bit better with the budget as far as what recommendations look like they're going to go through council for a merit target for each department. But I just wanted you to know that I did meet with the chair.
All right, thank you. And we're going to wait. I'll get to the point of deferring it in just a second. And the reason we're deferring it is we have a good process. We have a process where the chair meets with executive director to review her performance, because she obviously leads the organization, and then makes a recommendation to the full board whether to do an increase in salary or not. Having not heard from Jasper on the report, though I expect based on Laura's report that it's going to be a good report, but we're going to go ahead and defer that item until the next meeting when Jasper is back. I also wonder if we should, Anthony, we being the personnel subcommittee, should schedule a time to just meet and check in maybe later in the summer. We could just meet maybe right before a regular board meeting.
Yes, let's do that.
Laura, could you take the action of suggesting maybe a good time in June, July, or August where we'll just tack on a personnel subcommittee before the main fair board, just like 30 minutes before time period? Thank you. All right, next. These are kind of the same thing. Operations and executive director's report. I'll turn it over to Laura to give us an update on what's going on the campus.
Operations, we're working, we've got Ronnie here for our operations team, but what we're looking at doing is we've got some weekends coming up that we don't have rentals in certain buildings, and we're going to just take that opportunity to do some deep cleaning, some needed repairs, crack filling, just window washing, the whole, just really trying to make everything look good. We've got some larger maintenance projects that we're looking at, repainting or redoing the bathroom floors. They're so gritty because of a little bit too much sand, I guess, in the mixture that they're not cleaning very well. So we're going to look at a different floor surface for our public restrooms. And then we're also working on getting the overhead door in Expo 1 fixed. And then we've got a really big project with Train in doing some modifications and some repairs to our HVAC, which is going to be extremely helpful going into the summer months. As far as the executive director's report, I did, and he's not here, but I did want to mention that we've made some minor staffing changes. We had a vacant event services position, and we're actually going to fill that with a gentleman named Darren Howard. He is going to be transferring over from Municipal Auditorium here. So we're really looking forward to him starting after the first of the month, or at the end of this month. He will come in as the event services manager, which is a lateral transition for him. And then also Ryan Jensen will become the event services director and also be helping me and be my backup, which is going to be really helpful. I've wanted to really do that for about 9 years now. So it's good to have that. And I think that'll be a really good fit for our event services division. And I also think it's more than going to pay for themselves.
All right, any questions for Laura related to operations or her executive director's report? All right, seeing other questions, I'll ask one. Actually, I'm going to ask two because I'm me. One, could you have Ryan come to the next meeting just to make sure everybody's met Ryan? And then number two, we obviously have a very full schedule coming up this summer. Any concerns, Laura, anything you need from the Fair Board right now as we look at scheduling or anything in the summer months?
No, June is going to be incredibly busy, but we're working really closely. We've got FIFA. Everybody knows that FIFA is coming in to Geodis. So we're doing a lot of coordination with Nashville SC, which is going really well. We're adjusting. We've got one FIFA match that occurs on Thursday of Flea Market Load-In. So we've just moved Load-In a day early. And then just working around so that the vendors can get in and not worry about trying to get in during ingress for the FIFA game. But yeah, I think everything's good. We've got to work with Bob on some potential reschedules because of the weather related cancellations that he's been dealing with. But yeah, and then of course the fair, we're full steam ahead with the fair.
Wonderful. Two more items. One, could you, and you may have provided this to us before, so hopefully it's not too much to pull it out. Could you email to the Fair Board just an overview of our scheduling process holistically across the campus? And what I mean by that is like, who's getting dates first, who's getting dates second, how are we filling in dates, just for our education and remind us of how that's happening. And then second, you gave a great operational update on the improvements within these buildings. Is there anything related to the larger campus and infrastructure there? Obviously, we talked about capital improvements long term, but is there anything sort of maintenance-wise that we need to point out or any concerns there?
No, right now, again, we had pulled together all of our campus partners to talk about and get an idea of what maintenance plans each entity already had. And I think we discovered that we've got like 7 different contractors on site right now. One being warranty work for new construction, the other being extended maintenance plans, and then just annual contracts that Geodis and or Market Street has with maintenance companies. So we've got it all worked out. We've interviewed one Metro contractor that potentially could provide services for the entire campus, but until the extended warranties and the annual contracts that have already been executed are exhausted, we really can't make a full campus change until that happens. But we are ready. We've identified everything, and then the idea would be that Metro would procure the service, and then it would be a cost that all of us would split.
When do those contracts run out? Remind me.
End of 2026, not fiscal year 26, calendar year 26, so December 26.
Great, thank you. Any other questions for Laura before we move into old and new business? All right, we now have a quorum here, so I'm going to go back in the agenda and move to approving the minutes. I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the April 8th, 2025 meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All right, motion seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm aye. Motion is granted and our motion passes. Minutes are approved. Next, we'll move to new business. First, we have, I'm going to actually go to number B, consideration of merit increase for executive director. I'm going to defer that item. I don't think I need a motion on that. I think I just take that action. We choose not to choose not to take the action. Go ahead.
Typically, we require a motion, just so it's clear on the record.
All right. I'm going to move to defer the number B item, consideration of merit increase for the executive director. I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
Second.
First.
Move. Yeah, first. Sorry.
Second with the discussion.
All right. Now discussion. Anthony.
When did we, Chris, you may know this. When did we speak on this last time? On merit increase for the director, executive director. Do you know when that was?
You mean last year?
What was it? What like? Yeah, but what month did we do it last year? Do you remember?
Well, we did it a little later last year.
It was either July or August of last year.
Just a little bit later because we decided about the personnel committee and all that stuff.
Chair, if I may, I think that so I have a little bit of a memory of this because it was one of the first times I came. So I think that there was discussion about the merit increase, but there was concerns from Chair Hendricks that there weren't specific criteria to be considered for an increase. So then he suggested that you guys create a subcommittee for personnel, which you did, and then you discussed it. So I think it was actually more in line with fall. So kind of, after the budget passed and several months after that. So that's kind of the timeline that you guys were on before, but that was, I think, a little bit later than it's normally been in the past, if what I understand, since I wasn't here. And that was just because of the subcommittee, but it sounds like you guys already have that created, and you already had the discussion with Hendricks, but I know that, we are in budget season, so we don't, like Executive Director Romack was pointing out, we don't exactly know for everybody else what the merit increases and the COLA and all the things are going to look like, so.
Yeah, I would just to that say, waiting for the budget to be approved, because technically, formally, we don't know how much money we have.
Correct.
Right, so we could, Sorry. Am I repeating myself?
No, I'm just saying, last time we met, you said
Yeah,
the same.
that probably, but I do repeat myself quite a bit.
Anthony?
I'm good.
Great. That sounds good. So any further discussion on deferring this item?
The only other thing I would add is that the recommended budget to council from the mayor's office at this point has a 1% increase across the board, a 2% merit increase target per department, and then there's also pay plan adjustments that we will learn more about in the coming months.
All right, hearing no further discussion, I'm just going to move to defer this item one meeting. We can defer it further after that. So we're moving to defer one meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. All right, now secondary order of new business, consideration of bylaws, update to adjust the minimum number of fair board meetings per year. Laura, I'm going to call on you to talk about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was a discussion we had with Chair Hendricks over the last couple weeks, and it is looking at changing the minimum number of meetings right now in the bylaws. It gives a minimum of 8 meetings. If you go to page 3, I've highlighted the section 5, and the recommendation is to reduce that to 4, to more of a quarterly. It's not exactly quarterly, so Teresa and I were kind of going through the calendar. Number one, our bylaws state that we have to meet in June for officer elections, so that would for sure be one. We thought it was a really good idea to meet in February, which is around budget time, and then probably August before the fair, because typically we do either cancel or try to reschedule the September one, since it always falls right during the fair, and then one later around November, in order to discuss our mid-year budget updates, which we have with downtown. So it would be just a quarterly. We reviewed the private acts and the charter to make sure we were not running afoul of any early requirements for meeting. And in the private acts, it does say that we need to meet at least twice. So we would not run afoul of that requirement in the private acts.
And Laura, remind me, did we discuss deferring this until Jasper's back, or did we discuss discussing it?
No, we actually discussed discussing it and moving forward if it pleased the body.
All right, well, we'll start with just entertaining a motion to make this change to the bylaws, then we can have discussion, if anybody wants to make the motion.
I make a motion.
All right, is there a second? There's only one other person who can second it.
I have a question. Was the motion to approve or just to discuss?
To discuss.
I
Okay.
think the motion, well, you don't need a motion to discuss. I mean, we're having discussion. I think, sorry, if we're just discussing this, let's just discuss it.
Let's
I mean,
just discuss it,
yeah.
yeah, 'cause I think we...
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest with you. Like, I kind of feel like 4 times, I mean, we talked on the phone about it, so I'm sorry if I'm changing whatever I said then, but I don't know, I kind of feel like 4 times a year is, I mean, obviously we can meet whenever we want. We're the governing body of this
Correct.
organization. You know, I kind of like having a little bit of a requirement, because you don't want to, I mean, as we've discussed, Laura, I'm a big fan of, our job is to set strategy and we delegate to you, and you're running this day to day. We should not micromanage you. But at the same time, I don't know. This is a period of transition here. Is it good to be more frequent? I mean, one thing we could do is just, we're meeting 12 times right now. We could just go to 8, just which is what the bylaw says. So, I don't know. Other people's thoughts?
Yeah, I'm more in line with the 8 as well. I don't think going to 4, we could get what we need to get done. Too much time lapse, too much that we don't know, and we're not allowed to meet outside of this meeting, so I don't know why we would go to 4. I think this is, with the issues that we have pressing, you know, we still lacking one board, one commissioner. We haven't moved on the Bristol vote with the council. So we have too many items that be sporadic if we meet 4 times a year.
Yeah, I'd say from a convenience perspective, of course, 4 seems the most efficient way, right? But I agree that right now we might get over accumulation of items. To me, it makes sense even 6 times a year, every other month. I think, what? Nothing? So, yeah, I don't know if...
Metro Legal has to come to every meeting, by the way.
So 6, yeah, I mean, yes, me too, and we all have jobs, and this is also another job that we love doing.
Correct.
But yeah, I think to me 6 makes the most sense. 8 accomplishes almost everything. To me, if we have 6 formal meetings, and then we can meet we can add to those 6 whatever we need. It's the thing that makes the most sense to me, and that would be what I propose that we think about.
Chair, if I may, I would just like to add that even if you say you go with the split the baby approach of 6, the chair still has the option to call special meetings.
Right.
So if you have a minimum of 6, you could still have the chair by himself or upon the request of 3 members call a special meeting if needed. So just to put that out there.
Or to get to 8.
And to call those special meetings, how far in advance does it have to be? Yeah. 30 days?
No, I think we would just have to comply with the Open Meetings Act and with the Metro laws that pertain to that. So essentially you need to give 5 days notice to the public, but also it has to be posted the Friday before the meeting. So it's kind of like a little bit of
7 or 8 maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, so as long as you have it 5 days before, posted 5 days before, but also the Friday before the meeting, then you are in compliance with the Open Meetings Act and Metro requirements. So you don't have to give 30 days notice. You can plan something and have it done within a 2 weeks time, I would say, once you get everybody on board and then we do the notice requirements and all those things that are required.
Well, I would be in favor of 6 as opposed to 4. I would be.
I don't want to make any change. I think what we should do is this. I think we should ask Laura to look at the calendar and create a calendar based on the 8 that are required by our bylaws currently and try that. The reason is number one, I don't think you should change your bylaws lightly. I think you should have a really strong reason. I don't feel like we have a strong will to make a change. Number 2, I actually think we do need enough oversight. I think Anthony made a good point on the quarterly point. So I'd like to try a calendar based on 8. And as you pointed out, Laura, there's some months that are sort of not needed. But I mean, even more fundamentally, like we're struggling to get a quorum. So we have other problems with our meetings that we should address, which is number 1, we would need someone from the mayor's office to appoint another Fair Board member or potentially move this up to 7 members so that we can have a quorum. And I would like to ask you, Laura, to convey that message to the mayor's office.
I have. Changing.
No doubt. I know that.
I have.
That's for the record, bro.
But just so everybody knows, even increasing the number of board members does take a charter referendum. We can't just increase it like several of the boards and commissions are created by ordinance, so it would take a charter action to do so. The other thing that instead of the calendar, may I suggest, is that sometimes some of the other, I've just done some very minor outreach to some of the other boards and commissions, and there are boards and commissions or authorities that don't meet if they don't have action items. If all they're doing is coming and approving minutes, they generally don't meet. So we could do it one of 2 ways. I could put a calendar together for the 8. Otherwise, we could just know that we've got 4 times where we don't have to meet if all we're doing is approving minutes, and that could be the 4.
That's a great idea. Is that?
I think that is fine. I will add, just to piggyback off of that a little bit, like the Transportation and Licensing Commission, they set out their meeting dates for the whole year and give that to the board in advance and everybody in advance. So you could do that, like she's saying, and I think that's what she means by create a calendar where you already have your 8 laid out for the whole year, and then you can plan around the fair and things that you already know you have coming up. So then you also don't have to take the action of canceling meetings and doing those things. But yes, there are definitely, if there are not action items, you don't have to meet, as long as you meet the requirements per the charter and your bylaws.
Yeah, so if we put out 8 meetings a year, we would have to meet all 8. So we should put 12 meetings out, and then we can choose the 4 we don't want to meet. So I think that is also saying what we should do is keep it exactly the same, and the months we don't need to meet, Laura will tell us we should cancel, which is basically what we're doing now.
I will add that if you cancel, you should give adequate notice to the public. So make sure that you are canceling within a certain amount of time. I would give the public at least, I would say, several days notice so that they are aware, so they don't show up.
Yeah, sounds good. And to extra highlight the point of making sure that we are fully that we have all the commissioners that we're supposed to have. Maybe that's the first change that we need to make to see how that flows. So yeah, in any way that also board members and commissioners can help Laura echoing that message with the mayor's office and with council also. Even though they're not the ones appointing this turn, they can help with reminding everyone at the courthouse.
We need a PR campaign for how much fun it is to be on this board. Yeah. All right. So, any further discussion on this action item?
No.
No.
All right. I'm just leaving space if anyone wants to make a motion. Great. All right. Any other new business?
I would just like to share. I went to this event hosted at Casa Azafran, and it was a Belmont University event, and it was their innovations lab and their architecture school. And so they worked on this project of imagining Knowlesville Pike, the corridor, kind of like the future of it. I have a copy of the booklet. I'll share with everyone here. I can send it to you, Laura, and then I would love if you socialize it with the other commissioners. It's a really cool vision to see what the corridor can and, in my opinion, should be in the future. The one thing to note is that the Fairgrounds is just next to everything that is happening, but doesn't seem to be included in what could happen. So I invite you to look at it when you receive it, but also if you look at it with an open mind, because to me it was very telling, and let's put it this way, it changed my point of view on a few things. So I definitely invite you to look at it. It's very cool to see what the students did, and it shows from some analysis and study about the area and the composition of certain things, from density, type of use, and different properties and whatnot. So it's very cool. I would love for us eventually, once you look at it, we can discuss that, but to even ask for them to do a phase 2 where they can imagine us being part of the future of the area, not just be next to the future of the area. But I'll share it. It's a very cool. They did a wonderful job. So you'll have fun looking at it. So I'll share it with you, Laura, if you can share with the rest.
Just one quick question, Diego. Where did they start on the new imagining of Knowlesville? Where did they start, if you can remember?
Very close to our most north part of the. So essentially, it starts from here, and then it goes. It goes pretty down south, but but yeah, we are. Not that's, but we're kind of like the beginning of it, yeah. But and the most relevant area, I would say, where obviously there's the most happening, and this is a very industrial part, and so it touches affordable housing, it touches a bunch of different uses, wellness centers. It has everything that this area does not have, and of course, there's a lot of challenges to the different uses here, but it's very interesting. Again, very. It invites to look at things in a different way, and it does a good job at convincing people to do that.
Great.
I have Chair, if you don't mind, I have a quick procedural question on this action item regarding the consideration of bylaws. I know we did not have a second on the motion, but how does that agenda item, that action item, be resolved? Do we need to vote and say no?
No.
Or do we just defer
Nobody made a
it?
motion.
Yeah.
Nobody made a motion to consider it. We're keeping things the same.
So
I
just
think you
take it off?
Well, I think you need to have a motion to not approve the change.
No, we don't need a motion to not approve. A motion is to make a change. That we considered it, we discussed it. We chose not to move forward. So it's status quo. We can make a motion. You want to make a motion to not make a change? We can do that.
Does that make it cleaner? And
I think that makes it cleaner for the record, for the minutes, and for anybody who's looking.
And
at
that doesn't
home.
mean that we cannot bring it back up again if we want to revisit. So yeah, for now, motion to
Not approve.
to not
change
approve change
to the bylaws
to the bylaws
as considered
as considered
on Section A of the new business.
on Section A of the new business. Thank you.
A second.
All right, any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for pointing that out, Laura. Thank you, Metro Legal, for your advice. Any other comments, Laura, from the staff? Anything else from any other commissioners? All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.